Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another issue of Broken Not Shattered. This is your host, Ike Waverly, with my co-host Obi, who is back in Lagos. Obi, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. We're fine here.
So we're gonna come back in a few minutes with a special edition of questions and answers. Welcome to Broken Not Shattered. This is your host once again, Ike Waverly, with my co-host, Mr. Obi. Man, you're looking sharp, bro. You're looking very sharp.
Really?
Oh, you're looking sharp, man. What's up? What's going on, man?
It- it's not easy looking sharp over here.
I know. I've been hearing a lot of things going on in Nigeria with all the
Uh,
challenges you guys are facing out there. It's amazing how, as you draw near to this election, it's just to show you the intensity of what's about to happen.
yeah,
Change is so close, but Obi, I won't be surprised if at the end of the day it doesn't really happen. I have prepared myself, and it's even more difficult when you listen to people that you look up to, either because they're more involved politically or they're more involved spiritually, and you don't get that vibe that change can actually
yeah,
come.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it just comes across as if the change is not going to happen now, and that the change is going to happen in the future. And why can't it happen now? Why can't it
Exactly,
why can't it just happen now? Uh,
exactly,
you know, and certain companies make people not even feel like, oh, it's not worth it. It's not even worth trying to go out and make that difference or make that change. You know, but Nigeria is marching forward. We can do the best we can. If nothing else, at least the guys who have handled things um, for so years in that part of the world will live and learn that there are other options, and that life would never be the same after this one. Even if
exactly.
even if the candidate that you guys are all aspiring to move the country forward doesn't win, a lesson has been learned, and 4 years comes around like clockwork. But that's just my own opinion. This mistake has been made before, where the people went out there thinking that, oh, they have the answers, have the right person to deal with this whole issue, and it came back and it backfired. So I won't be surprised if it happens again. But until then, we're here. We're really here, and we're also hoping for the best. Today's show on Broken is a little different. Obi and I sent out questions during the course of the week to folks all over the world that listen to us, and we are expecting to get some questions, and then we'll just answer them to the best of our ability. So we'll be back in a few minutes, and then we'll be able to. Oh, thank you. Just said both of you are looking sharp. Thanks a lot for that
Thank,
compliment.
thank
So
you,
yeah,
Joe.
so we just go ahead and we'll just come back in a few minutes as we both take these questions. All right, buddy. And then, if you want to share some light towards the end of the things that you guys are expressing, we can do that too. All right. Okay, Obi. So the first question comes from, okay, I won't call their name. They are based in the United States. Um, they're based in the US and they live in the eastern part of America. Question was, what role does fear play in one's life? What role does fear play in one's life? You can start off, bro.
Yeah, can you hear me very clearly? Does it look like I'm cracking over here?
I can hear you. I can hear you clearly.
Yeah. So you're saying what role does fear plays
Yeah.
in one?
Person said, what role does fear play in one's life?
Did you say fear? Fear or fear?
No,
Fear.
Fear.
Okay.
Fear.
To be realistic, it plays a major role in one's life. There is never a headway with fear. So it is one of the factors that determines if one actually will succeed or not. Yeah, fear is a very determining factor in one's life towards success. So if you can avoid fear, then you can succeed. You can go far. But if you cannot, then there is a problem. Fear plays a major role in one's life. Did you get me clear? Is that my network or yours? Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I guess there might be network hitches over there. So, like he asked, what role does fear play in one's life? And I'm trying to say, it plays a major role. It is quite difficult. In fact, I want to use the word. It is vehemently difficult for anyone to succeed in life with fear, because with fear, you definitely can make a try. That we're able to take risk is that we'll have the determination to kill fear, or we have strength over fear. And that's why, making reference to the scriptures, it says fear not. In the scriptures, we have more of that phrase fear not in the scripture than any other phrase so far. Why? Trying to tell you how important it is not to fear, and how devastating it could be if you allow fear to take over your life. So it is very, very important. Yes, I agree with you. Fear is a spirit that needs to be avoided.
Yeah, you're right.
Thank you. Looks like your network was a little.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I got kicked out talking about fear. I got kicked out talking about fear, bro. But that's fine. The journey continues, and we will continue. The show must go on, like they will always say. So yeah, I was listening to you in the background while you were talking, and I completely agree with everything you said. And like the writer had just put in, fear really is a spirit. Fear is a torment. Now, let me use my own experiences for a bit, and maybe that will help someone listening to us. There is good fear and there is bad fear, right? And I know. And what do I mean by that? The bad fear is the fear that stops you in your trap. It stops you on your path to success. It hinders you from getting up to go, right? You want to accomplish something great. You know you have the capacity to do it, but the fear of stepping out and failing hinders you from moving forward. And the scripture says that he has not given us that spirit called fear. We just told you that spirit is a spirit, right? So he hasn't given us that spirit called fear. However, he has given you three other spirits. The spirit of
boldness and a sound mind.
Power. Right? That power is the boldness to step out even when you know that you might fail. Because you see, there's nothing wrong in failing. Because you fail does not make you a failure. I'll say that again. Because you fail does not make you a failure. there is no failure in you, right? You might get up, run, and stumble and fall. That's okay. The challenge is how you pick yourself up and keep on running, right? So because you failed or you are afraid of failing, you don't step out. But how about if you then step out and you succeed? Right? Because you can step out and do well. So that fear is one that grips you. He's giving you power, right? He's giving you the spirit of love, right? Which is the capacity to actually go out there and engage, believe things that will transform lives, right? Out of the goodness of your heart. And then he has given you an intellectual mind, a very sound and sharp mind, to be able to create things in your mind and see them come to pass. Let there be Facebook. Let there be Tesla, and there was a Tesla, right? So that's the capacity to create. And then you step out and you do great and mighty things. Let there be a blamage, and you step out and the blamage comes to pass, right? Whatever company is, let there be a PNC bank. Let there be an Access Bank. And someone thinks about it, comes up, and it comes to pass. Now, if those guys behind all these great organizations I just mentioned were trapped by the spirit of fear and didn't step out because they were scared of failing, those services would never be there. So for everyone who's listening, I'm encouraging you, just step out. You might not even see the full picture. Sometimes they say, don't despise the days of little beginnings. It might look very small. In that big oak tree you're looking for, it's in that small acorn. The tree is in the acorn. If you despise the acorn, you will never get the oak.
Yeah.
So that fear is what I will ask people to overcome. And then be careful of what comes out of your mouth. I remember I told you a story before. I used to be, people would say to me, how are you doing? I said, not too bad. How are you doing? Not too bad. And then one day, my quiet time, the Spirit of the Lord came to me and said, look at what you're declaring. You're declaring not too bad. It is bad, but it's not too bad. So I changed my pronunciations. I changed my declarations. I changed my testimony. I started saying, guess what? It's great. It's awesome. It's wonderful. Even when it was not as great as he wanted to be, I could say, oh, it's great. We're doing great. However, we could actually improve in this area. I changed my narrative. And everything began to change around me. One step at a time. So the second fear is the one that helps us to make smart and good decisions. Right? Like the fear of the Lord. Okay? The fear of doing something that could bring shame to your family. There's so many things I could not do when I was in university, right? That my friends were doing because I was scared that if it went wrong, I would bring shame. Even up to today, there are certain things I would never do. I pray I never get to that point. Go ahead, Obi.
Okay, I'm trying to look for a way to present the questions I have in my mind as regarding this fear. Two basic questions I want to throw out and see how we can look at it. Now, first is, what is behind that negative fear? And how can we overcome that fear? How do we take off that fear?
So the first question is, what is behind that negative fear, right?
Yeah. Why fear? In fact, why fear?
Why fear, right?
Yeah. Why fear?
Right?
Why the word fear? Why do fear come in place? Why fear?
So let me use an example again. I think sometimes when I use illustrations, I get my message across. Somebody says, Kechi says, good question, Obi.
Yeah.
So it's sometimes they are either based on words that have been spoken to us, right? If a parent keeps on saying to a child, you will amount to nothing, right? Chances are that child will amount to nothing because they begin to take in that belief. If a spouse keeps on telling their spouse, you're useless and you're worthless, right? If you keep on taking that in, it goes into your spirit and you begin to believe those words, those negative words that have come out of somebody else. You begin to act like somebody who has no future, right? Because now you feel you're useless. One is our experiences. We've gone out before, we've tried, and we've failed. So based on that experience that you went through, you feel like, I can't do this again because I will fail. So you get married the first time and it goes wrong. Guess what? The chances are you never get married again for those of you who are afraid of getting married after divorce. You marry again the second time and it goes wrong. And everybody says, oh, you know, marriage is not for you. Just don't bother. Just walk away. So fear grips you. So everybody you now see after that, you look at them through those eyes. Like, and you can't express yourself. You can't relax and enjoy the ride. That's what fear does. It is based either, most of the time, either words that you've received from someone else that has some kind of, like my therapist friends will say, the parent. Your parenting is wrong, right? Your parenting is wrong. That means those who are supposed to be there to protect you, shield you, help you become everything you are, speak negative to you, or were never there to affirm you or strengthen you or protect you. So the parenting is wrong. So you need some reparenting taking place, because the wrong parenting can create fear, right? And the second time, or the second reason, from my experience, is when people have launched out and it went wrong. So you're afraid to launch out again. But you see, every time you launch out and you fail, you are closer to getting it right. Because the wealth of experience you learn in failing can never be compared to what you learn when you succeed only. Every great man that you know today has launched out and has failed.
Okay.
I hope that helps with the question you asked.
Yes, I like what you said, but then I want to come this way. Now, that fear, for me, I see is a psychological thing. And I agree with you, which comes from either what has been said to you,
or what you've seen.
Exactly, anticipated that might go on the negative. I want you to go with me. Now, if you remember, the scripture said that we do not fight against flesh and blood, but we wrestle against principalities and power, against one of the things he said, said against imaginations that exhaust itself above the knowledge of God.
That's right.
Now, imaginations. Now, what are those imaginations? I agree with you that I might fail, that I might get it wrong, that it might bring shame. And so these are those concepts in our head that people will
laugh at me.
People will laugh at me, yes. So these answers where the fear is coming from and why the fear. And how do I do away with that? Same concept. Remember, he said, what we'll find is that our imaginations that try to exalt itself above the knowledge of God. In other words, those imaginations are false. Find out what is the actual thing, which is the knowledge of God, understanding. This is what it has said concerning me, you know. And when I don't want to go, there are plenty things that God has said concerning us, which by the time we begin to apply ourselves to it, it takes it off. Now, looking at it generally, how do I take it off without even the scriptures? we have even outlined it. We have said it in the course of this program, that fear is not something that should be avoided. The fear of failure is not something that should be avoided. Since failure is one of the things that brings fear, I will say that failure brings even an opportunity to learn.
That's what I'm saying.
So what does that gives me? I am not afraid of what the outcome might be. It comes out bad, then that's fine. There is something to learn from it, and I move ahead. Because that has happened to me, I've failed. Correct. There is something to learn from the failure.
Correct.
So when we have the understanding that even when I fail, okay, it is not the end. There is something. You see, there is saying that when you take a leap and you fall, try starting again. You're not starting afresh. You're starting from experience, which is a better starting point than where you started before.
Because you've learned.
So if we can get that mindset, it's going to help us.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm able to make a point.
Obi, can you hear me? I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. I guess we're closing at some point.
Man. I'm trying to make sure that we get to other questions also. But I'm saying, yes, you're right, because you've learned something new. Every time you step out and make a mistake or make an error, right? The wise man among us, or when I say man, I mean male and female, would learn from that experience. You understand? Somebody said, oh yeah, I heard this is all nice and well. This is all scripture. How do I apply this in my daily living? The same way it's said in the scripture. Apply it to your now. Apply it to your day. Don't be afraid to step out and get it wrong. Don't be afraid to go out there and get wrong. If you step out and get it wrong, guess what? You have learned something that you will not do again, that the next time you step out on that same platform, you will get it right. Obi, we're going to come back in a few minutes with some more questions. All right, Obi, we're back again. Someone just said to me, and this one is coming from your neck of the woods. It says, how do you deal with stress at work or a difficult employer? How do you deal with stress at work or with a difficult employer? Well, let me strip it down based on my own knowledge of corporate training. Right? First of all, you must see the employer as a person, that they have the opportunity to sit in a place where they can supervise you or make decisions. Doesn't make them perfect. They are a person, right? And the best way to deal with a difficult person is, one, know who you are. Be sure of who you are. Once you're sure of who you are, it's easier not to be pushed around by every doctrine or everything that difficult employer says, because you never know. The employer himself might be dealing with their own issues, because he's a person. How would you deal with a difficult spouse? How would you deal with a difficult child? The principles of dealing with a difficult child is the same principle spouse, a difficult person, a difficult parent. It is the same principle. First of all, know yourself, and then be true to yourself. If you come to work late and your employer is putting on pressure because you come to work late, deal with yourself first of all. Start coming to work early. If you start coming to work early and your employer is loading you up a lot of work, then you must have to be able to talk to your employer respectfully and in the most professional manner. So let's just say you want to tell somebody in your team that, oh, mind your own, I got this covered, right? Instead of me saying to Obi, oh, mind your own business, stay on your own lane, I'll just say, thank you, Obi, for your contribution. I would come back to you if I need more suggestions. AKA Obi, stay on your own lane. AKA Obi, mind your own business, right?
Yeah.
If somebody, yeah, but you can say that same thing politely and professionally. If you keep your relationship with your employer very professional, no matter how difficult he is, you'll be able to put them in place, because they will get to a point where they begin to know that you're not going to be pushed around. But in some cases also, you find out it's easier for you to work with a difficult employer, because out of that or those experiences, you will learn a lot. Although you might be broken, you're not shattered. And because you're not shattered, you have the capacity to overcome all those challenges, Obi, that your difficult employer might present to you. So to my friend or person or member of the audience who sent out the message, how do you deal with a difficult employer? Think about how you would deal with a difficult spouse. Sometimes it's in your delivery. Don't waste too much time worrying about what they think or what they say. They might have their own issues. Just get the job done and deliver it on time. And once you get the job done and you deliver it on time, there's nothing they can say. Oh, you know what? Obi is a difficult person. But guess what? Obi gets the job done. And Obi's relationship in those 8 hours is a working relationship. Obi is not your brother. Obi is not your friend. He's an employer and an employee relationship. You've hired me to get the job done. I give you the job done, sir. I give you the job done, ma. And that is it. You can't come back and say anything else after that, Obi. Your take.
Then I was thinking you were going to say something about the stress.
Oh, the stress. How do you deal with stress? Just relax.
Exactly.
That's how you deal with stress.
Yes.
Prioritize what is important and what is not important. Prioritize what you think you should do and what you think you should not do. There's only one you. You're not omnipresent. You can't be everywhere at the same time. So what do? You find out that, okay, I can't be everywhere at the same time. I have to be able to do what I have to do to keep things running. You prioritize your work, you prioritize your time, and in that time, make time for yourself. It's called self-care. Sometimes you tell the children, hey, take care of yourselves. I'm going out to hang out with my friends, or I'm going out to just relax, or I'm going to watch a movie, or I'm going out to my room to stay, whatever it is. You must be able to have your own time. Ketty says, roller coaster emotions, good suggestions. I know who you are and know yourself. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But your spouse might not be. That's because the special people walking on the other mat. Okay, so again, everyone is entitled to their opinion, and we respect everyone's opinion on this platform. What I will say to anyone who's listening to me, mostly either based on my own personal experiences and people that I've actually counseled or encountered with over the years of doing this. We have 2 more minutes to go. Let me see if I can take another question. When you're overwhelmed as a stay-at-home mother with more than 2 children, how do you deal with your time? Well, let's go back out and we'll come back and answer that question when we'll find out the answer in a few minutes. Okay. In the meantime, please don't forget to follow us on Instagram on Broken Not Shattered. We have a good engineering team behind us now, and so things are looking much better. Okay, I'm not going to take this break I was going to take a few minutes ago. I'm going to answer this question. How, again, like I said earlier on, to the mother who's out there who stays at home and you're overwhelmed with the children, make out time for yourself. Use that time as a stay-at-home mom to start your own little small business, whatever it is. Find out there's some given to you that only you have the capacity to deliver on those gifts. Find out what the gift is. Look for something that you join a networking firm or a networking association like a chamber of commerce. Join a club or join a church program that you feel that you can. It's your own takeaway time to assert yourself as what's it called again? As a mother, become who you choose to become. Okay, so please do not get so swamped in taking care of everybody else that you neglect yourself. If you're on a plane, they will always tell you on a plane that if the plane goes down or is going down and the mask drops, they always tell you to put on your own mask, secure your own mask first before you turn around to help your child or help anyone else. And that's how life really is. You can't help anyone unless you first of all helped yourself. So we want to use this opportunity to thank everyone who has joined us today, this afternoon. We do apologize for the Wi-Fi issues we're having on net or technical challenges we've had this afternoon, both on my side and Obi's side. But it's all good. We're still here. Obi, our time is up. We don't want to keep our audience longer than this. I think you've done a lot of answering, and I've been able to answer some myself. But we'll be back next week, ladies and gentlemen, with our guest. I can't tell you who our guest is yet, but it's someone who you're going to be interested to hear about. And Obi and I will be on time, 4 o'clock Eastern time and 10 o'clock in Nigeria. Obi, I'm thinking of changing this time, because folks in your part of the world might need to come back a little early.
Exactly. I agree with you.
Yeah. So we'll talk more about that when we meet during the week, during our meetings, and to decide how to go forward, meet the needs of our audience. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for all your support. Please, like I said, tell your friends, your loved ones to go on to our Instagram handles, our Facebook page, subscribe with us on YouTube. We're getting stronger on YouTube every day, and we need all the support. In our famous 3 words: love, power, and more grace. Take care. Obi, I'll see you, man. Obi, please stay obedient and vote.
It is not enough. There is no other way without. In fact, there is no other option. It's just obedient. No other option. Obedient.
All right, man.
Very obedient. Very.
I look forward to talking to you next week Sunday. You guys are voting next week, correct?
Yes, we're voting next week.
Saturday.
We're voting next week.
On Saturday.
Saturday, yes.
So let's talk about this on Saturday. So get ready for all your stories. If you can bring some video pictures,
definitely I will do that.
All right, man.
I'll be on ground.
And please be safe. See you guys next week. Broken, not shattered. Thanks again.